Gun crime, it's a problem across the country. Here in the Tri-States, the Quincy Police Department is investigating another shots fired incident that happened over the weekend. This after another shooting left one person dead just a month ago. WGEM's Dylan Smith talked with one resident who was extremely close to the most recent shooting and also close to another shooting that happened just before the new year. Dylan?
Well, Daniel, residents near 9th and Elm say enough is enough. Now, this was the scene of the crime just 4 days ago. The question now is, how long does it last?
Enough is enough. We have children. We're trying to raise our children.
Ariel Bonds lives just a few blocks from 9th and Elm, where on Saturday, 2 were taken to the hospital after shots were fired.
We're not trying to be shot up. We're trying to live.
But in her neighborhood, it's a common occurrence. Last October, 3 shots fired calls within 2 hours of each other happened, all within 1 block of her home on Chestnut Street.
When can we go back to just fighting each other with hand fists? Like, why do we have to result into shooting each other, taking each other's lives away? For what?
On May 24th, a woman was shot and killed in the 1100 block of Jefferson Street while sitting on her porch. The suspect, 19-year-old Victor Weems, is still on the run.
Every available resource that we have is going to go into investigating and trying to bring justice for the victims.
Quincy Police Chief Adam Yates believes Weems has left Quincy. About 2 times a month, he says, police respond to a call where actual shots were fired. Solving these cases is top priority.
This type of violence puts the entire community on edge. If folks don't feel safe walking around in their neighborhoods, then that's a huge issue.
Neighborhoods like Bonds' neighborhood.
It's a very scary situation to have your children over here in this area, and they're still continuously shooting. When's it going to stop?
And Weems faces first-degree murder charges with a $5 million bond. Live in Quincy, Dylan Smith, WGEM News.
All right, thank you, Dylan. And Yates says the 2 injured in Saturday's shooting have non-life-threatening injuries. No arrests have been made in that case.